Oh my god. Hi. Hello, everybody. Oh, here we
Oh,
are. Welcome to the Just Gaming Tingz podcast, honey. No, this is not porn. You clicked on accident. No, it was me. It turns out. Your host, one of your hosts, Project Ruby, here. Uh, Here we are. Just Gaming Tingz podcast. We're bringing an all queer perspective on video games, gaming news, nerdy things. I'm joined here by two other clowns. Ruin Crown, hi.
yes.
Hello.
Hi, hello everyone. It's such a pleasure to finally be back. I'm so happy.
Yes, it's so exciting to have you back.
We missed
Thank
How have you
you.
you.
been?
I've been a-okay. Everything's been good. We're striving, we're thriving, and we're just going for the gold. We're going for the gold.
I don't, whatever that
That
means.
means that
I
I'm just
I'm still
smiling
immediately,
in
and
I was
nodding.
like,
Olympic mode. I'm
butt
still in the
stuff?
Olympics mode.
I was like,
Butt stuff?
Uh-huh.
We're digging for gold in the butt.
Oh wow. It's,
oh,
we've introduced a very sexy energy in the studio today, which is a very sexy, sensual energy.
I don't know if it's
Yes.
sexy or alarming, but either way, hi spin.
Hello.
Hi, I'm a real boy today instead of an anime girly. Nice to see y'all again.
It's so good to see you in whatever form you want to present to us. We appreciate
Oh.
you and appreciate Lynn. Even though
Anyway, I'm very.
she was giving me a side eye last time, so I don't know about that. I don't know. She was onto something.
I have a very important announcement for everybody in the audience tonight, everybody in the world tonight.
Oh God.
Did you know that it's Halloween? It's Halloween.
Anyway,
We're in September now. It's Halloween.
wow, maybe mistakes were made today. Maybe
Suddenly I get cut from the podcast. I get silenced. I get censored.
It's done. It's over
why
with.
is this
Sorry.
like a weekly occurrence now that you say something that warrants us
So controversial yet so brave.
brave is a strong word. And
Brave is a strong word.
we still
I'm a
have to
strong
determine
person.
whether or not this is brave or just clownery, really.
Why not both?
I mean,
T. Well, but speaking of clownery, we are streaming this live on Twitch, and Twitch is there's plenty of clownery on twitch.tv.
Oh boy.
And
All right.
yeah, go ahead,
Do you want to
Spin.
get into it? All right. So if
Yes.
you've been at the bottom of a deep dark hole for like a month and you haven't been paying attention to what's going on.
You've been
I
digging
mean,
for golds.
if you've been digging for gold, you
Searching for gold at the bottom of oh my god, a hole. Anyway,
We need to be stopped.
anyway, what's been going on? We're broadcasting news deep into the hole to you.
we're shouting down the hole. Can you hear us?
Can you hear us? Hear us.
Oh,
Hear
we have to laugh because otherwise we'll cry. It's really upsetting.
I mean, T.
Oh god. So yeah, for literally over a month now, marginalized streamers, especially like trans streamers, streamers of color, have been getting just attacked by it's like I can guarantee you it's like 10 people. Like it's like 10 people with like 50 bajillion bot accounts, and they will like go into people's streams, just like spam slurs, like spam hateful stuff, try to get information about people, like people have been doxxed. It's a situation, and Twitch is not really doing anything about it except for like sending us, passive aggressive emails. Like, have you tried turning on auto mod? Oh my god. Have you tried turning on follower only mode? We have this amazing mode where if you turn on follower only mode, only your followers can chat. Have you heard of it?
It's
Also,
not
you
like
can
you have been
increase the
sharing these
time.
resources this whole time with one another.
Yeah.
Did you know that you can increase the time that follower only mode is active so people have to be following you for longer? Did you know? Oh my god. Anyway, so because of all this, um, streamers have organized a protest that was called ADayOffTwitch. We all participated in the Day Off Twitch. It was September 1st. And literally no one I followed was live. It was amazing. Just like seeing the turnout.
Iconic.
But yeah, this protest, we just want to talk about like the impact of it for a second. Because normally at that time on Wednesdays, last month, there were between 61 and 65 million hours watched. September 1st, there was 57 million hours watched. So that is a drop. Fortunately, this article we found did the math for me because I don't know math. But that is a drop of between 7 and 12%. So for anybody who's like, oh my god, this isn't gonna do anything, nobody is gonna care, this isn't gonna matter, like, hi. So I thought we could just talk about like the protest and like the impact it had and our thoughts and feelings on it. You want to start us off, Ruby?
I sure want to. Let me do this. My lips are moistened and I'm ready to talk.
Oh my god, that's awesome. I'm so proud of you.
Talking on a podcast, who would have thought?
Imagine.
No, yeah, this was a very important day, and I think one of the things that isn't really being talked about too much is the fact that hate raids, follow botting, doxing, swatting, all of these things have been happening on Twitch for years. And I feel like some of the reporting around this makes it seem like it just started happening like last month. And no, that's why
it's been an issue.
Yeah, exactly. That's why people are protesting, because Twitch hasn't been doing anything for years, which is their MO. Like, they did the same thing with DMCAs. They willingly admitted that they worked on it, on like ways to prevent them too long after it'd been an issue. They were like, oh, we used to only get a handful of takedowns per year. And then we started getting hundreds and then thousands, and now we're working on something. And that's literally the same thing with the hate raids and etc. All the harassment, all the nasty shit happening to marginalized creators, is that this always has happened, but they only, in my mind, they only, from what we can see from the outside, they've only been taking it seriously maybe from last year, and they're working on something, because I get it that shit takes time to get worked on and all that stuff, but at the same time, it's like that should be number one priority. Like, we don't need a new feature for emotes. We don't need emotes to be on Giphy or whatever the fuck they announced recently. And I think
it's like your house is on fire and you're like painting the siding. Like,
right.
Your house is on fire.
Or like working on things. I think the problem here, and I don't know if they get it, is that they've been working on features that continue to put the responsibility on the creators. So they were like, oh, we worked on automod. Like, automod wasn't a thing when I first started streaming. And again, that's a feature that puts the responsibility on me to protect myself. So like, they don't get it that they need to work on features where they are protecting people and they are actively preventing usernames from looking like, moderate passwords from 2004, like randomly generated passwords. Like, shit like that shouldn't happen. And there's plenty of platforms, there's plenty of places, even related to games, where you can't create a username if it has certain words in it, or if your profile picture has certain things in it. Like,
get that Nintendo moderation on here. Nintendo's got
honestly,
it.
Like,
honestly though,
fucking Grindr of all places has the thing where like they have to approve of your profile picture. And so like, how is it that Twitch, like, I've moderated for a few marginalized creators who have been like hate rated, and there's people that have like the creators' faces as their profile picture, which, how is that allowed? They have like fully porn as like their profile pictures, and like other horrible things that I'm not even going to mention. And it's like, how does that get through? How does that just happen? And it's like, Twitch does things based on like, oh, the advertisers are pulling back because of that thing. It's like, why aren't advertisers pulling back on a platform that isn't actively protecting people and is allowing all this hate speech to take place in? Like, why aren't advertisers looking at Twitch and being like, oh no, we don't want to put our ads in there. We don't want to have our brand showing on the same screen as like a Nazi, basically. And it's like, what? How? When? So hopefully this impacts that, whether people like to believe it or not, there was some impact. Because even Twitch started their yearly September campaign on September 2nd instead of September 1st. So like clearly there's impact there. So I hope that they fully take it seriously. It doesn't seem like they are. Like, it seems very like weird that they're just posting on their Twitter page about like random shit as if nothing is going on, and sending emails being like, hey, have you tried hiring a moderator? Have you tried?
That email.
Having moderators definitely helps protect your channel. You should consider having some viewers become moderators. Girl, what?
So that they get harmed instead of you.
Yeah, exactly. Diva, what?
Oh my god, wow.
Like, you're literally, what are you taking us through? The affiliate like pathway again? Like, remember going through that again? Like, where it's just like, oh, these are the basic things to help protect you. And honestly, I would say automod isn't even that great. I mean, it can get, it's if you have it at like the top level, like it's blocking like crap, or it's blocking like, oh shoot, you know, like it's blocking some of the like silliest things, which like I guess I understand. But I mean, the other thing too, in March they released their first global transparency report, and only 15% of reports that were made led to enforcement options. Like, or like, hello?
Right.
15%. So what are y'all doing beyond that? Are y'all just sitting at a desk collecting your check? It does. Mm-mm.
Right.
Mm-mm. And we, like you said, we continue to see them tweet about this and that. We get these emails about these silly little things. And even before all of this was happening, some of the things that they would introduce, it's just like, y'all been working on that, and you still can't protect against racist, homophobic, transphobic usernames?
Right.
Yeah.
Get it together.
Right.
Because like we've been reporting like racist usernames forever.
Yeah.
I report at least a few racist usernames like a day. Like anytime I'm like moderating in a stream or I'm streaming, like there'll be a couple. Like that's been an issue.
How is it that Twitch has a platform, doesn't do the bare minimum of having it so that you can only have one account connected to one email, for example, or at least like two or three? Like,
that blew my mind. I've never heard of a site doing that. Like being able to create an infinite amount of accounts from one email.
Not since like 2004. You know what I mean? It's like you would think that like have it so that people have to have like some sort of two-factor authentication associated, or only one phone number allowed, or something like that. It's like there's things that seem like simple that literally everyone else does that Twitch just doesn't do as a bare minimum. And like, it to me, I was gonna say something and I forgot, but basically, like, the platform just doesn't do really much for the creators. There's always like, we're working on it, or we hear you, and it's like the action, like Ruin said, doesn't usually follow through, and it makes you wonder why, you know, especially considering that like there's been creators that left YouTube literally because of similar reasons, and they literally talked to like higher ups at YouTube, and they were just told to like, have you tried like blocking those words? Have you tried like reporting them?
People.
And it's like, I mean, yeah, but there's only so much that I could take.
Yeah,
um,
and people will always come up with different ways to manage to get those words in your chat.
right,
Like you can fully like block some of the worst words in the English language and people will still find a creative way to put it in your chat. And it's just like, how do you expect me to block that?
right. Oh,
Yeah.
I remembered my point. Sorry. The thing that bothers me the most is like seemingly it feels like everyone else except for Twitch is coming up with things like that.
Oh my
Like
God.
bots that are preventing bots from happening. Like Streamlabs did a thing where they implemented a better, I guess, protection system for their creators. They introduced a monthly subscription service where, you know, they don't take half of your money, like Twitch does. um, and it's
Mm.
just like, even if Streamlabs had been working on those things for a while, it makes you think like, why wasn't Twitch working on those things since at like around that same time? Like, how come like the work hasn't been done on Twitch's part? And like people are doing a lot of this work for free. Like a lot of people are coming up with like solutions or you know, temporary solutions to these problems as best as they can, like literally for free. And then you tell me that Twitch, who belongs to like a multi-billionaire company like Amazon, doesn't have the resources to whip something up.
I think the only
Yeah.
thing that I can think of at the end of the day is that it just comes down to money. Like if advertisers are still going to show on there, and obviously, like if some brands don't want that associated with themselves, they can obviously not choose to broadcast there. But then like I just think of the ads that we get for like the armed forces. You
Hmm.
know, it's just like, well,
Yeah.
you know, Subway might not be, you know, promoting here anymore, but the armed forces, which is definitely not the greatest place for POC or queer people whatsoever, you know, like they'll still advertise there. There will be someone who wants to advertise there because of how much Twitch revenue or clicks it generates.
Mhm.
There will be someone there.
Yeah, unfortunately so. And like the thing is like we always hear like this argument all the time, but like, oh, you're literally on Twitch right now. Like, why are you criticizing the platform so much? It's like because we want it to be better. Like,
Right.
I love it here. I genuinely love it here. I met y'all here. Like, Twitch changed my life. I want it to be a safe place that
Right.
we can be. Like, I want it to be better. Like, I'm like criticizing it because I love it. You know,
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and
People
that's
really
really
don't
all it is.
understand the that you can like something and criticize it. Like people really don't. Like there's been
Yeah.
plenty of like situations where someone criticizes a game, for example, and people are like, "Oh, so you hate the game?" It's like, "No, I'm just saying that I don't like this thing or those things about this specific game, but I still loved it. I still had a great experience, but I can still be critical of something and still enjoy it."
It's literally
Yeah.
what game reviewers do. It's
Right.
like it's a job. Like it's just like people who are theater critics, movie critics, like they love movies, they love theater, they love food, like food critics too. Like, you know, okay, it wasn't the best and these are the things I'd probably do to improve it, but like they're literally jobs that people do this. I don't understand. This is a job for some people. Like we are able to you criticize your job, you complain about your managers, you complain about policies they may putting out, like you're able to do those things and still enjoy the place that you're at.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I mean realistically, like where are we going? YouTube, which has a lot of the same issues?
Right.
Or
And like actively suppresses queer content.
Oh
right.
yeah.
Like, oh, I'm gonna stream on TikTok or Instagram. Like, what's gonna happen then? Like, I don't
Oh
know.
God.
But
If
well,
if we if we do want to talk about one of the alternatives that is kind of breaking into the scene, Ruin, do you want to kind of
Yeah, absolutely.
get
So
into that a bit?
yeah, so Facebook Gaming, they recently so this has been a thing for partners for a little while since last September, but now they're level up creators, which I guess is one step below partner status for Facebook Gaming. They basically can stream what like while they're streaming, they could play almost any type of music now from big hitters like Universal Music Group, Warner Music Group, and Sony Music Entertainment. And this literally counts for their live broadcast, past broadcast, and clips that may come from their from previous streams. So it's not a predetermined playlist. They actually have a program where you can add music, and as you're adding it, they will be like, "Yeah, you can use this. No, you can't use this. Yeah, you can use this." And apparently, Facebook, they're like, "Listen, we got some of the best technology out there that will be able to see, what music everyone is playing. Like we're able to do it, so don't you worry about it." So I mean, that's a big game changer because I mean, this is not I'm not trying to read anyone. I understand we're all trying to play, DMCA free music, but I mean, I don't know. I just think about when I did my recital and part of my recital got muted. Like I just think of that shit and I'm just like, Twitch, what are you doing?
Right.
Like that it just doesn't make any sense. And I can't say that I haven't also had the thought where I should like go to YouTube or I should go to Facebook Gaming. Like really what would be the big difference? Because Twitch has just been such a hmm, dumpster fire. Dumpster fire.
That's the way to
um
put it, for
Feel
sure.
it fire.
but I think this is a big swing and a hit by Facebook Gaming. I think it's going to definitely entice a lot of people. But I mean, I also don't know their hierarchy. I don't know what it takes to become a level up creator compared to partner on their um on their platform. But I'm sure it's probably very similar to Twitch. But what do you all think of this?
This is a huge deal because
Hmm.
like UMG owns like everything
Yeah.
as far as music goes. Like you can with UMG
Sony
and Warner
too.
and Sony, yeah, like you can
Hmm.
play pretty much anything.
Yeah.
This is a huge deal. And I feel like it might be enough to pull people like from Twitch, especially like people who are already looking at moving due to everything that's going on.
Hmm.
Um it's definitely like it's a big deal. I'm just like looking at this and I'm just like
Right.
they got UMGs.
Wait a minute now.
Wait a minute. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's still like I'm not like jumping over to Facebook just because like it's Facebook, but like Facebook is really like trying to turn like their gaming like branch like around.
Yeah.
I've seen like a lot of effort from Facebook in like the past few months, even like trying to make their gaming branch like really something, and like this is a huge step in that.
Yeah.
Nope, I agree.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ruby, what did you?
Yeah, I don't think the music alone is gonna be like, oh yeah, let's move to Facebook just because I can play music while I'm just chatting or whatever.
Mhm.
Because like the reality is, a lot of people don't just do one platform anyway. It's like, and this has been an issue that's been going on. Like TikTok is a platform where you can like have basically any background music because they also have deals with labels and you can just do whatever, right? As long as you're not like a business account or something. But
Mhm.
if you repost those TikToks on your Twitter, you can get DMCA takedowns because Twitter doesn't have those deals with those record companies. So in a lot of those
Mm,
situations, like if you were to like upload clips to other socials to promote your streams, you wouldn't really be able to do so unless there's ways
True.
that you can record and like you can have so that your mic is separate from the music so you can have that muted, whatever. That's like technical shit. But I feel like I feel like that wouldn't be enough, but that is a big deal, and I hope that other platforms follow suit because I think, like, I feel like both Google and Amazon can afford to do so.
Oh yeah.
oh,
Um, they
absolutely.
could afford to make it so that like if you even if you have to like have like their equivalent of like Spotify, right? Like if you have to have like the Amazon Music subscription, and as long as you play something that's available in that, then you can stream it while you're streaming. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that, where like for Google you could do like YouTube Music or something like that. Um, and I feel like they could do that. They would probably have to pull some strings, but if Facebook can do it, clearly other platforms that are as big as them can do it. The I think the most important thing about Facebook to me is that I have seen that they have this program called Black Gaming Creator Program, and again, I don't know how safe the platform is because I don't literally know anyone who streams on Facebook Gaming, but they have an initiative that's like a 2-year program where like um specifically for black creators, which is amazing. And they basically it's like a 2-year program. They get partnership, and they get like whatchamacallit, like people are like mentoring them and like supporting them, and it's like a whole thing where like they properly grow a community of black creators and a platform that fosters black creators, and I think that's really cool. I don't know, I've seen them poach queer creators and do like 1-year contracts with them. And I mean, listen, if the coin is there, and if you can like, because that's another huge thing for marginalized creators. It's like on Twitch, like we rely on like people's goodwill. Like if someone wants to sub to you, and even then you get half of it, right? And for another platform to be like, no, we want to invest in having like marginalized creators here, let me pay you like an amount of money for you to be here and to do your thing. And that's huge to me. Like I would rather talk about that than talk about like, oh, the bigger streamers on Twitch are leaving for YouTube. Like, okay, they're white,
Fine anyway. Yeah.
straight, making millions anyway, so like, oh,
Yeah.
they're making more millions, good for them.
All right.
It's like,
Majority of their people are probably going to follow them over there anyway. Like most people probably don't even have Facebook, especially in the queer community, because they don't want to be anywhere near, their family that may not be accepting in them. And
Right.
family of queer people, especially if they don't agree with it, they're still going to add you, and you're still going to see, their anti-queer, propaganda all over, or anti whatever it is. I would say in the US it's the Republican people. We still love you, we just don't agree with you. Like it's just one
oh
of those
yeah.
things. It's just like, why be on Facebook if you're just going to get bombarded with that crap. And then if you don't accept them as a friend, you're going to, at Thanksgiving dinner, if you see good old Aunt
Oh
Carol, she's going to
god.
come up to you and ask, why haven't you added me back on the Facebook, darling? Aunt
Yeah, and
Carol.
like the
Because
dead
fuck off, Aunt Carol. That's
names and
why.
all that.
That as well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's one of the main things that I'm really curious about for Facebook. So, like, if anybody who's watching who knows the Facebook gaming platform better than us, like, let us know, like, either in Twitch chat or in YouTube comments. Um, because like with Facebook, like you have to basically have like your real last name
Yeah.
attached to your account. Like you're basically like doxing yourself. So like, what's the like it has like your Facebook has like all your information, like all your family members, all like where you went to school, where you live, like everything. So how is that like separate from the gaming like portion of it? Like how do you prevent people from getting that information about you if you're on Facebook? That's the part that I don't understand.
As far as I understand, as I do a quick scroll through Facebook gaming for the
Hmm.
first time, you
Oh, really?
right,
Oh, we're
you you can
researching.
actually have like a username for yourself. Like the streamers don't have their actual names up on the screen. Um,
Okay.
although the viewers do. So
Oh.
not everyone, because
Oh.
like you have to sign up through. It's like I think it's the equivalent of like having a fan page kind of thing, where like you
Hmm.
can have like a business page or whatever. You can do that as the streamer, but your viewers would have like their actual Facebook profiles, which for me don't love that, but at the same time,
Mm-mm.
accountability. because you
True.
can't make 1,000 Facebook accounts if they force you to like have like a real name and like your ID associated with it and all that shit. It's like, I mean, for safety, it seems like at least for accountability, it's easier for people to like, oh, I'm using my actual name. Let me not go out of line here, and then my potential like employer or whatever can see what I'm saying in these like streams or whatever. So like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't love
Or
that, but at the same
what if
time,
you're
I'm
a
like,
streamer and you're watching your friends who are also streamers?
well, you see, that I don't know, because I can't click on like anyone's like name and be like, oh yeah, this is also a streamer.
Right.
So I don't know how that would work. So yeah, definitely
Yeah.
for sure let us know if you know. If you actually, if you somehow, if you're a regular Facebook gaming watcher and you're somehow watching us outside of Facebook gaming, let us
Let
know
us know.
what's up with that. Because I'm actually curious. Like I'm genuinely like open for other places. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like I don't
Yeah,
have
I,
an
I feel like Twitch
exclusivity
definitely
deal.
needs competition
Yeah.
because like basically they're just like we own the market in live streaming, like we can basically do whatever we want and people will stay with us because we own the market. Like
Yeah. Same with
so
YouTube.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
it's
They're like, oh,
competition to be
where are you gonna
healthy.
host your videos on Vimeo? And you're like, well, especially when
I mean, just
Google as like a search engine literally redirects you to YouTube. Sorry,
no,
Ruby.
Yeah.
it's very true. No, I was just going to say that, I mean, just kind of looking at looking at the Facebook gaming page and just kind of like going around, like it's not I don't really understand how you are I or how you're supposed to find people. Like, I think it's just kind of based off of, if you have a Facebook page and it looks like they put their top creators first, and then
Mm.
it just goes down and down and down by viewers.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's even really a way to search for like a specific game. So
Hmm.
I think Facebook gaming definitely I think what it comes down to is like for Twitch, like you get recommended channels to you. So you see, people who are maybe in the same communities or have very similar viewers as you. Like I think that's the biggest thing that Twitch will always have on people is that you're able to properly find it. And
Yeah.
I mean, Facebook is definitely stepping up to the bat, like, they're gonna try, I just don't know if they're gonna hit it out the park.
Yeah.
This is definitely I look at me using sports references.
Oh.
Oh, I love that. They made it to first base, but we need a home run. That's what we need right now from
Oh.
Facebook
Yeah,
gaming.
is
Oh!
On
our midst is it
sports.
heterosexual that I see on screen? Oh my god.
Gay people can do sports.
Gay people can do sports. Yeah, there is a baseball player who just recently came out, and I thought
Ah,
that was really cool. Yeah, and he's a country singer too, and I was like, "Okay,
Oh,
pop
that's
off, queen."
cute.
Yeah,
this
really
mask
cool.
energy we have. Oh god.
I am the trade of the podcast. Maybe I'm the trade of the podcast.
Screaming.
Well,
Do we wanna move on? Maybe we should
Yes,
move on.
you're more than welcome to. We are
maybe
more than welcome.
so. Maybe so. Oh, one last thing that I want to say is like
Okay.
things could change for the better if like the people that are like at the top of the pyramid, as far as like, everyone is talking about like Mr. Tim, Mr. Lupo leaving the platform. They could be so much more powerful if they created a platform themselves, because they have so much money. If you think about it, if a lot of those top creators were like, you know what, like we want a platform that's like better, safer for everybody. Let's invest in a platform, or let's do something. Let's come up with something. They could have the power to do it, but they just don't want to because to them it's like they can just easily go from Twitch to YouTube and they won't lose like they will lose maybe like 5% of their viewership or whatever, but it's like their revenue is going to stay the same if not higher because of the contract that they signed and all that stuff. But yeah, anyway, something to think about.
Just also quickly, have y'all seen the streaming service that's coming out? I think in November, Altair.
Yes, I've
Altair,
seen
is that what it
Altair.
is?
Yeah.
Altair.
It's like a mental health
I'm
focused
interested.
service.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested. I think my priority right now, because of everything going on, is like, how is your platform different than the others as far as safety?
Mhm.
True.
Like
No,
that's like my
true.
main thing. It's like, yeah, that's like iconic, like a platform that you can opt out of seeing analytics and all that stuff. That's really cool. And they don't have like a partnership system in place, as far as I understand. Um, but there is something to think about as far as like one, like revenue. It's like, how do we make money then? Because like a lot of people, especially marginalized people, do use Twitch and live streaming as like a source of income. um and safety is like number one for me, I
Mhm.
feel. But I'm very, very interested.
Okay.
Like I have the opera glasses. I'm like, I cannot wait to see how this turns out.
We
We wait and see. We wait and see.
we
It's
wait.
not that long from now, actually, because we're in
Yeah,
September
November.
already. Like,
Mhm.
I almost said we're in
God.
October because I've thought of Halloween. I
Ah!
It's
cannot.
Halloween.
Spin is just brainwashing everybody,
It's
It's
been with
Halloween.
the with the Halloween propaganda.
right?
It's Halloween.
I can't stand it. You know what I can stand? Nintendo potentially bringing Game Boy and Game Boy Color games to their Switch online service.
What I literally said
Oh
on
my
the
god.
podcast.
Oh
I
my
literally
god.
said this on the podcast.
We have said this.
We are a powerful manifesting engine on this podcast.
We really are.
That's true. No, it's true. It's true. It's true.
Like, I feel like a lot of podcasts are like good at predicting because they're like industry insiders and they're like, oh, this is probably what's gonna happen. But we're like really good at like asking for shit and then it happening. But yeah, so it's a very strong rumor. Of course, Nintendo hasn't confirmed any of this, but things have been said in podcasts, things have been corroborated by people, insiders, etc. And there's a very, very strong possibility that Game Boy and Game Boy Color titles, or Game Boy Advance, excuse me. No, Game Boy Color.
Mm-hmm.
I said it right the first time. Why am I
You did.
overthinking it? Something
And
to
I'm
think
proud of
about.
you.
But there's strong rumors that they're gonna come to the Switcheroo. So Nintendo, their official statement is, we have nothing to announce on this topic. Which, as far as Nintendo goes, they didn't deny it. So they just said they didn't have anything to announce. I'm very excited. I feel like we had a little moment a few podcasts ago where we did like a PS2 wish list kind of thing. I feel like we should have like a Game Boy little wish list moment for like games that we would
Okay.
love to see on there. Because let's be real, a lot of them are gonna be like the NES and SNES games where we're not gonna know like half of the games. But wishful thinking, maybe we can have some of these. So I would say, if I'm to go first, I'm gonna go with the obvious. I need like original Pokemon on there. Like, you can remake, you can do Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go whatever. I want those games anyway. But also give me the original shit. Give it to me. Pokemon Red, Pokemon Blue, Pokemon Yellow, Gold, Silver. Give it to me.
I am going to burst your bubble, and I truly hate to do this. I don't mean to be that person, but those are actually all available on the Nintendo 3DS. So
Yeah.
I 1000% do not think that they would do that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It would be a gag, honestly. I think it would be a gag. You know what would be a bigger gag is if Nintendo, they require, oh no, my Switch isn't anywhere near me. If for these games, they made you take out the Joy-Cons and you had to play like this. and that's how you played. And they had the little buttons down here, and
Maybe as an
it was all
option.
That could be
true.
cute.
I'm like,
The,
I want to
it
see
would
it on
be
the big
cute.
screen. Don't get too wild with it. But also that's cute. Give that to me too. But I'm like,
It'd be really
Um,
cute.
I honestly, I did say it was wishful thinking because I feel like there's a way higher chance of them just like selling them on the eShop for like a
very
limited
true.
amount of time for some reason with like a
Even if that
collectible
happens, I would
cartridge
be happy.
situation. I feel like they would do that.
I will buy those games again for the third time. Give it to me.
Or if they do like a little, they sell it like physically, like 100 Game Boy and Game Boy Color games. I would buy it.
That would be really
I would
cute
definitely
too.
do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So I knew as soon as I saw Ruby taking Pokemon, because y'all knew I was gonna say Pokemon.
Well, I mean,
What I instantly thought of was Game Boy Color Harvest Moon. Could you imagine?
ooh.
Oh my gosh, that would be
Color
perfect.
Harvest Moon. Also,
Go.
make it so you can be non-binary. Thank you. Do an update so you can be non-binary.
Do an update.
Update, please. Update, please. Right now.
Do
Thank
that
you.
challenge.
Do that challenge.
But yeah, I would die. I would simply perish. That would be all I wanted.
It would
Iconic.
be
So
the end of
Yeah.
spin.
I'm like
as
trying
we
to think
know
of
it.
other stuff. I'm like,
Mhm.
oh,
The Metroid 2 game that was on Game Boy, which not a lot of people have played, that rare game. Kid Icarus, another rare Game Boy game that not a lot of people have played. Let me see, what else do we got around here?
we look up Game Boy games.
Game Boy Color.
Well, they did that Final Fantasy stuff. They did that. Oh, Wario Land. The
Ooh,
Wario Land games, those
Ooh.
were very well, no, they weren't. Those were very popular. Those weren't as popular, but you know, a lot of people try to play them these days. That's all
Iconic.
I got.
No, that's good.
it's good though. I think like we got a really good start.
Definitely Mario. Everything Mario.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kirby. Anything like Nintendo, like Zelda. All the main.
Yes.
All the main stuff, which is probably the bigger likelihood of it happening, is with like mainline Nintendo stuff. Because I think
Mm-hmm.
if as we get into like Game Freak for like or the Pokemon Company and like others, that's less likely to happen. But I'm always open to a good surprise. You know what I mean? Like that's part of the
Completely.
fun with these games and services like this is like getting reacquainted or acquainted with games that you've never played before and you're like, "Oh, that's cute." Or like
Mhm.
I never played that. Let me get into it. And I really want the Switch online service to evolve to become similar to what Game Pass is as far as like their older games. Like with Game Pass you have access to so many like original Xbox games, and I would love for Nintendo Switch Online to kind of become that, even if they don't want to like have the newer games on there. I would love for that to become like kind of like an archive of like their best like mainline Nintendo stuff. That would be really cool,
They
even
honestly
if
would
they have to
not
raise the
even
price.
have to have new games. They really would not have to have new games at all because like Nintendo
No.
fans are very nostalgic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking as a Nintendo fan, like you can give us a game from 30 years ago and we will shit our pants. Like
No,
Yeah.
honestly.
if this happens, I will shit live on the podcast.
I remind me to
I-
not invite you on that week. That's all I have to say on that
I
matter.
The
get my
sad thing is that we
toilet.
won't know when that's gonna happen.
Ah!
So
I
Spin will
bust
just
into the call. I
Yeah.
bust into the call as shit I leave.
I hate it so much.
Spin's running to the closest computer that he can.
You better be Lynn that day. That's all I have to say. I don't need to see it.
I get my little VTuber toilet.
Right, yeah. I don't
You
need to
move
see you
it
getting up with your
move
poopy
her over.
pants. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Oh my gosh. I'm
Oh my god.
Well,
screaming.
Do we want to move on?
to another shitty
I get too
situation.
excited.
Good one.
Ding,
A
ding, ding,
good one.
ding.
Ding 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 ding.
Every once in a
You won
while,
the
you know.
quiz. I've been taking improv classes.
Ah!
You
Oh my
know, they've been
god.
kicking in.
Is it improv? Maybe it's improv. Maybe it's ADHD.
Oh
Anyway.
god.
Ruin.
You win?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
Me?
oh, me?
Maybe some of the topics. Oh my god.
Me? Okay, yes,
God.
another shitty situation happening right now. China has been cracking down on video games, unfortunately. Throughout the past few years, they have literally been going against video games as hard as they could. They actually banned the sale of import video game consoles. So whatever comes from outside of their country, they're not allowing in. And that's been going on since 2000. And then there have also been accounts over the past 2 decades. It's 2 decades since 2000. That they there have actually been video game addict camps that kids have been sent to. So what has China done that is so terrible, that is so shitty? Get ready. They've limited to how many hours kids can play video games. They are only allowed to play video games on Friday, Saturday, and Sundays, 1 hour a day between 8 and 9 p.m. They are no longer, and on holidays, they can play 1 hour on holidays. Other than that, they cannot play video games whatsoever. Um, they do not think it's healthy. They have been really trying to cut down on a lot of things that they don't think is healthy. Another topic that we were going to talk about I'll quickly mention was they are banning all images, movies, whatever, of their quote unquote what they consider sissy men. Just because of the rise of popularity in K-pop and Japanese celebrities, they do not want their young people to be influenced by these celebrities. So they've been banning quite a bit. This has come among other things like their educational reform as well, which is actually not terrible to kind of be on their side. They've cut down the hours of homework that is allowed, and they've actually cut back on standardized testing in younger kids as well. So they try to focus a lot more um, on the education of it all, instead of sitting kids in a classroom for several hours trying to get them to, understand topics and all of that. But I could not imagine a world where I'm only allowed to play video games for an hour a day. I mean,
Right.
just an hour a day is just like that's definitely not enough for me. And then to push it to the weekend at a specific time period, I could only imagine. I really feel bad for the kids who kind of find their escape in video games, who are able to make friends through video games. Maybe they are unable to make friends in school, but they're able to make friends online. And I think this is definitely going to hurt some kids socially, and it's truly unfortunate. It makes my hearts go out to those kids, to what's with that happening. But how do you all feel about it, Ruby? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. It's like I can't imagine like I feel like everyone has had those friends where like their parents are like super strict, where like I can only play games after a certain amount of time or after I've done my homework, and I have to show them that I did my homework, and I can only play for like a couple hours. Like I've definitely known people that were like that, or like whenever they failed a test, like they knew, like they were crying because they would cry because they knew that their parents would like hide their PlayStation or whatever. So like there was definitely people like that, and I'm not against like cutting down like time on like people, like especially kids, because their brains are still developing. Like maybe, yeah, do limit how much they spend like online, and or monitor at least. But I feel like 1 hour, especially like if we're gonna say like a total of 3 hours a week, like that's nothing. So it's like I definitely, a little bit of balance for sure could be there. I also don't think it should be, I guess not to get too much into politics, but like it shouldn't be like a country, like, you know what I mean? Like a politician should be telling everyone to like, hey, everyone, you're only allowed to do this for 1 hour a day. Because it's like, it should be up to the parents, right? Like if the parents are like, oh, my kid, you know, is very like shy, or like they play games a lot or whatever, like if it's not impacting their grades or the work that they're doing at school, then why would you like remove it from them or whatever? Because there's so many benefits to playing games. Like there's so many studies that have proven that playing games actually helps with like reflexes and with like a lot of different things, with like decision making, and just a lot of things that you can do your own research with. So like it's not a good thing for sure that they're like reducing that, especially like I feel like with a lot of companies, especially MMO developers and stuff like that, I feel like that's gonna take a toll on them if their market was, if their game was big in China, which I think that there could be consequences to that. But yeah, that it really sucks. I can't imagine a world in which like I could only play games for like 3 hours a week. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. I'm wondering about like the long-term effects of this on like the Chinese like gaming industry, on esports, because like um for a lot of like esports training, like that you start training like when you're a kid and you're a teen, and then you like go on to like get into like championships and like play professionally. I feel like this is really gonna like hurt for like Chinese esports players, because like, or people who want to get into that, because like they're not gonna be able to have like any time to like practice when they're teens.
I mean,
Like they
partially,
can.
I don't see that as a bad thing, to be honest. Like, I have
Mhm.
a lot of issues with like the idea of like, and this goes for a lot of things. Like, I know that a lot of athletes of like literally for the Olympics and stuff like that. Like, we know of athletes that like train since they're like kids for like hours upon
Yeah.
hours upon hours. And I
Mhm.
do have like issues with that. Like there should definitely be like some sort of regulation as far as like, hey, your kid was just in school for like 8 hours and now they're training for another 8 hours. Like, do they have a life? like,
Yeah,
Mhm.
like,
I'm not saying
you
No,
know?
like
absolutely.
be
And
training
I
for
mean,
like 8 hours, but like
I
more than
mean,
3 hours a week.
yeah.
well, I think they're really trying to change the culture of it all in China, because they've also recently made it illegal for companies, tech companies specifically, to they made it illegal that workers cannot work 9 to 9. It's the 996 rule. I don't know if you've heard of this, but it's basically a rule where you work from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days a week.
Mhm.
And tech companies were like, that was expected out of you. And China recently came out and be like, no, girl, that's illegal. you can you can't do that. And honestly, I feel I China's a very proud country, I would say, and they take very deep pride in like their athletes and all of that stuff. You can definitely see that throughout the Olympics, like how serious their athletes take it, because their country invested in them. And I honestly feel like even with this rule going into effect, I feel like if there were really good, I mean, there are really good Chinese esport teams, like they're going to get a special privilege. They're going to be the
Maybe.
exception, because they bring pride to China, which is the thing that they want. you know what, they want those things. They want people to be proud of where they come from. So they're going to be probably special things granted, privileges to those
Yeah.
people for
Maybe.
sure.
Maybe. I don't know. I just think like this is going from one extreme to the other though. Like
Oh yeah.
right. And also like I do want to like mention like none of us are Chinese. Like
Right.
we're all Westerners. We don't have like a dog in this race, you know? Like we're just looking at this from the outside.
Yeah.
Um so we do not have like the same perspectives that people like actually in China and affected by this will.
Right. Yeah.
Hmm.
Because like I feel like a lot of times when Westerners talk about like policy decisions in China, like it can err into a xenophobic territory really quick, and I just want to make sure that like
Right. Right. Yeah.
that like we're like aware of that like we are outsiders to this. We don't
Of
really.
course. Yeah.
No, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think the bigger thing and the more probably worrying thing as far as like the gaming industry goes is like how it's gonna impact games that usually would have had a big market there and they aren't going to anymore. And even
Yeah,
situations
definitely.
where like is this like a thing where they're trying to avoid influences from the outside, which we obviously with that rule that they have against sissy men, quote unquote, it definitely seems like they are they're definitely trying to not control necessarily but limit the exposure to like
Yeah, I didn't even think
other.
about how like that could
Yeah.
definitely be connected because like if you think of like every like JRPG protagonist, like everybody's androgynous, you know?
Yeah, for
So
sure. And it's
yeah, that
the
could definitely be
outdated
connected.
concept that like playing video games is useless. There's like no use to playing video games and you're wasting your time and you're like you're not doing anything useful and you're just whatever. Like still to this day there's people who are like, why would you watch someone play video games on the internet when you can just play them yourself? I'm like, why do
True.
you watch
Literally been like a
basketball when you can
job for
play it
over 10
yourself?
years.
Yeah. Why
Well,
watch basketball when you can play it yourself?
just like turn off your TV and go to your local sports shop and just get a basketball. Like, what are you doing watching people play basketball?
Why would you buy butter from the store when you can churn your butter yourself?
Oh my gosh, so true. Why buy vegetables from the store when you can grow them yourself? Hello?
Oh my god.
Yeah, I just
Get in there with the butter churn. Just
I no, absolutely not.
That's what a butter.
that's what a butter churn looks like. I was not making an inappropriate
That
gesture.
was an excuse used to make that gesture.
I swear it was not.
Was it?
Uh-huh. The lies, the deceit on this podcast.
Sorry, YouTube.
Well, we put like a big censor bar over me.
Right. I cover your cam that for that period of time.
Why was Spin blocked out at?
Oh no, the camera
Maybe
glitched.
it's for the
So
best.
weird.
So funny.
Maybe
Discord disconnected.
Discord doing the
we
most.
should.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I just hope for the best as far as like the people impacted, whether it's, they want to play more games that they can't, or the developers that, would sell their games and they're going to be selling less copies of it or what have you. We just, wanted to kind of share that, I guess.
Yeah.
We're not at all trying to like demonize or
Oh no.
No.
glamorize either of the the decisions made, because they weren't made for us at the end of the day, and
Mhm.
it's none of our
Nope.
business as foreigners. So yeah, well,
Yeah.
we have another story today that
We sure
is
do.
very exciting. This is hopefully not going to be a shitty situation. Yes, Spin? You have something to say, Spin?
You have something to say?
I'm feeling very attacked.
You have something to say, honey?
I just came out to do a podcast. I'm feeling very attacked right now.
Aren't we all?
Well, you put yourself in this shitty situation.
Oh my god, I gotta go. Oh my god. You're breaking up.
Well, oh no. Well, as Spin gets
I'm going through a
sucked into the
tunnel.
ether, and just perishes into our very own, into something. I don't know. A puddle of
shitty
mush.
ether.
I fall into the deep hole that we are broadcasting the news into.
Oh,
Very true.
Such a deep hole.
Oh my god, so deep.
Hello.
Okay.
What are we doing?
This Thursday, we have all been invited. You've been invited. You've been invited. You also, yes, you listening to this, currently pooping. I know that you're pooping while you're listening to the podcast. That's okay. I hope you have a good poop.
We wish you good poops.
We wish you good poops. This Thursday, there's a PlayStation 2021 showcase. Pew, 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 pew. I am very excited for this. According to the PlayStation blog, we can expect a look into the future of PS5. Around 40 minutes of updates from PlayStation Studios. Some of the most imaginative developers. Games releasing this holiday and beyond. Oh my god. And they decided to clarify that the next generation of VR will not be making an appearance, so sorry about it.
I'm honestly fine with that because VR gives me motion sickness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't play VR, so I don't care.
Are y'all excited or what?
I'm excited.
Yeah, what do y'all think?
I am excited. I'm definitely excited for it. I have learned not to set up any expectations from Sony because I feel like it's better just to be surprised by what they present to us. So yeah, I feel like with what we've been watching from E3 and Gamescom, how everything was just like, oh, 2021, and we've all kind of been like, 2021's almost over, diva. Like, you need to tell us when this game is coming out, or early 2022. Like, give us the dates. So I think that's the biggest thing I'm excited for, is the dates of when certain games are coming out. I mean, the game that I am most excited for, which is Horizon Forbidden West, got its release date for 2022. I already pre-ordered the $250 special Regalia edition. Like, I am 1,000% ready for that game. I honestly have no expectations from this, so I'm ready to be surprised. What about you, Spin?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty much like in the same boat because like at this point, like literally every single like game, it's been like 2021, and it's like, girl, you only have like a few more months.
Right.
There's only like a few more months. It's already Halloween. Like, come on, give us some release date.
Give it to me now.
Yeah,
Give it to me now.
we might be able to do a live reaction to this because that is during a Thursday at 1 p.m. Pacific.
Yep.
All right, so that would be like 4 p.m. here. We might be able to do a live reaction to that one. We can try to arrange a little situation. A little situation with a couple of us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, we will.
That would be cute.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't want to like go in with my expectations too high, but I would like some release dates and maybe something that makes me want to buy a PS5 because right now I don't really have anything that makes me want to buy a PS5 yet. So,
which
would if you give me something to make me want to buy a PS5, I don't know. I genuinely don't know.
What if Sony is listening right now? Like everyone else in the industry listens.
What can we manifest? What can we manifest?
Exactly.
Give us
Final Fantasy Origins Chaos. That game.
Chaos.
Chaos.
Honestly,
We're doing something with
if they show
chaos.
like a really good update to it and be like, hey, we worked on it, like I can be like, oh, okay,
Smile.
right? Like
That, or I mean, Final Fantasy 16 news. I would gag for
Yeah,
that.
I
yeah,
would love
definitely like
that.
an update to 16.
Ooh,
Years.
you know something? We're bringing the PlayStation 3 store to the PS5.
It's all in one
Ooh,
place.
It's all in one place, included in your PlayStation Plus.
that would be fierce.
I would jump on that.
Hmm.
I feel like I say this every time, but like an update to PlayStation Now would be so good if they made that, because like that could be their equivalent to Game Pass. If they either like merged it with like PlayStation Plus, like if they did literally anything to that would be like a direct competitor with Game Pass, that would make a lot of people want a PS5, because that's why a lot of
Hmm.
people got Xboxes, because they're like, oh, it's literally a Game Pass machine. Like I can just literally have the latest games. They're from like Microsoft and some third parties, some indies in there, and it's like very affordable, right? If they
Mhm.
do that and like their service is like better as far as like, if you have older games, I feel like that would be such a good thing. Like if they had like PS3 games that were downloadable, because nobody wants to stream, from their console a lot of the time. Like you just want to like, let me download the game
Yeah.
and, play it in a way where it's not going to lag, it's not going to be gross, it's not going to be ugly. Um or make an improvement to, the streaming service, either or. But that would be really fierce. That would be really fierce if they did a PlayStation Now for PC where you could download the games on PC. That would be really fierce, because you can do PlayStation Now on
Ooh.
PC, but you have to like stream, you have to like play it like on a cloud kind of thing.
Oh.
But if you did it and you could download the games, that would be fierce.
That. Yeah.
That would be iconic.
So yeah,
Yeah.
like I would love like a big like, because they're showing like developers and all that stuff. I feel like that could be like a really cool thing to show in a presentation that I feel like a lot of
Mm.
people would love. Because I feel like PlayStation fans are also, I mean, gamers in general are very nostalgic. Like people
Mm.
love to play the new and flashy games, but they also love to like go back and play like something that they played when they were a kid, and
Yeah.
like maybe for some people show their kids the games that they played when they were kids and shit like that. Like I feel like a lot of people would really appreciate that. As far as like new announcements and stuff like that, I would love a reasonable announcement. Like, don't show me Final Fantasy 16 if it's not coming in 2022. You know what I mean? It's like, it's one of those things where
Mm.
like, I don't want to see it if it's not coming next year.
Okay.
Like maybe show me the other Final Fantasy stuff that you're working on that's like, coming soon, TM. But if it's not coming by the end of 2022, I don't want to hear about it. Those are my two thoughts on it.
Set on that.
Yeah, usually anything Final Fantasy. If there was like somehow a Kingdom Hearts game, like not Kingdom Hearts like 4, but like, something else, TM. I don't know what that would mean. But yeah. Anything else?
A Castlevania game would be fierce.
Mhm.
Ooh.
A new Castlevania game.
I'm thinking a lot of it's probably going to be updates on things we've already seen.
Yeah,
Mm.
for sure.
Just setting my expectations realistically. Just like updates on things we've already seen.
There's
I
probably
just
gonna be
want
something
release
about God
dates.
of War,
Mm-hmm.
the new
Oh,
one, because it's been a
yeah.
while. But then again, if it's not coming 2022, don't give it to me. I'm just like,
True.
I'm like, maybe this, but also like don't do it if if it says like
Yeah.
2023 or 2025, I honestly don't want to see it.
Hellblade Senua.
Ooh.
Maybe something new about that. What was another game? I'm like looking at all my PlayStation. So I started looking across my PlayStation 4 games, and I also got a little concerned because I was remembering Gamescom with like the Horizon news. I'm scared they're gonna recycle the Horizon news.
They probably will.
Um, I'm scared that they're probably going to talk about the pizza delivery game. What's that game? With the guy from Walking Dead.
GTA? No, just kidding. Death Stranding.
Hey,
It's
maybe
trending.
Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, that
Maybe a
would
Grand Theft
be
Auto game.
that would shake the girls to
Um,
the core.
Mhm.
uh, but yeah, I feel like they're gonna talk about that, or maybe
I'm
or Death Stranding, or
literally
maybe Ghost of Tsushima. Ugh.
literally the only person who's excited for the Death Stranding special
Mm-hmm.
edition.
I love
I'm
that
the only
you.
person who's excited for it.
I love that
You
you
are?
said like I
You're
need something that makes me want to have a PS5, and you're literally obsessed with this game that's only on PS5 because you want the director's cut.
Yeah, I probably am gonna get a PS5 for that. Let's be real.
I mean, pop
Let's be
off.
real.
I mean, I got a PS5 and I'm not even touching it.
Ah!
I'll just
I'll be honest.
we're all gonna watch Norman Reedus chug that monster can in all of the definition.
Who's all? Who's we all?
Me,
You'll be
everybody
there.
who's watching my stream.
Yeah,
Okay,
you'll
then
be
it's
there.
us. Well, shit. Well, you got us.
You got us, Gail. You got us, Gail.
Well,
I got us,
shit.
girl.
I just keep you as my captive audience to watch Norman Reedus chug monsters. That I do a 3-hour stream of just Norman Reedus chugging monsters. Could you
At
imagine?
that point, I just mute the tab. By 30,
Not
30
bothering with
minutes
this.
in, if he's still chugging monster drinks, I'm like, it's over. I'm clicking away. Maybe the audio experience only, so my view counts. But at that point, it's over. We're moving
I love
on.
it. I love it.
Okay,
Um,
do y'all think that this is realistically that this is gonna be like a really big showcase? Because like my thing about it is like I feel like people are probably rightfully setting up a lot of expectations because they've been very silent this year. Like they didn't show up for Gamescom, they didn't show up, well, kind of, you know, some games did, but they didn't show up for E3. I feel like who remembers early 2021? I don't.
Right.
So
no.
it's like they kind of, if this is not supposed to be a big deal, especially like them calling it something else other than state of play is making it seem like it's going to be a big deal. Them being very silent for the remainder of the year makes it seem like this is going to be a big deal. So I feel like if it's not going to be a big deal, they're going to set themselves up for a lot of scrutiny.
I mean, it's got to be something special because I mean, the little logo that they made is all sparkly. Like, is that silly to go off of?
True.
It's
Is the
not. It's
sparkly?
such a gay thing to think about, but it's so true. It's like the
They
logo
made
is so
the
sparkly.
logo
Surely
all
it's a special
rhinestones.
occasion.
Yeah.
It's the crow tendencies that I have. Like, I see something shiny, I'm like, hey, this actually might be something special here. This might be something special.
I mean, because I feel like last time they did a PlayStation showcase was like to showcase PS5 stuff that was coming out, and that presentation was really good because that was like pre-release.
Yeah.
So do we think it's too early for a slim version?
I was
Ooh.
just about to say that. I was like, they're probably going to announce like a newer console because wasn't it like 3 months after they released the PS5 there was already talks that like, oh yeah, we're already working on another PS5. Like
Mm-hmm.
we initially released it, but now we're working on another PS5. So maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe
Maybe.
they'll show a slimmer PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Will it be easier to get our hands on?
Well, the sad
Will
thing about
will this
that,
be
No.
easier to get a PS5?
the sad thing about that is that I did read something that was like the apparently the bigger problem with the Xbox and the PlayStation consoles being so scarce is that a chip that they use is very scarce. And
Yep.
apparently those chips are still going to be problematic to get, and apparently reports say until like 2023, 2024. So we can probably expect for consoles to be like really hard to get because they're going to be really hard to manufacture, unfortunately.
Yep.
And that's
Yeah.
affecting like games and like not games, like PC gaming as well, like for a lot of
Yep.
graphic cards and a lot of stuff, because a lot of these things are unfortunately getting like sought after because of like cryptocurrencies and like crypto mining and all that shit. So it's like, why do you have to ruin the environment and the video game space?
You know what? It's also affecting cars, the car industry.
Yeah.
You could
Yeah.
probably drive past a dealer if you have those things, like a car dealership, and
Mm-hmm.
most of the lots are empty because they can't make cars because they don't have the computer chips for the smart systems in the cars. Like
Mhm.
It's fucked
it's
up.
it's yeah, it's everywhere. It's not just affecting gaming. It's affecting
Yeah.
a lot of industries, and it's truly unfortunate. It
Mm-hmm.
truly is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we'll be on the lookout for the PlayStation Showcase. Feel free to call us out on everything that we got wrong. Um, we
Please don't.
appreciate it. Two types of people. I'm like, we appreciate it. Please do. Ruin is like, absolutely not.
I don't want to hear a
Keep
single
your
word
mouth
from anyone.
closed if you want to do that.
I should have get my mouth closed. Then why you on a podcast, girly? Why you on a podcast?
T. Well,
Well, I don't care what happens. I'm the third kind of person. I'm just like, do whatever you want. We're gonna be clowning. We're gonna
I'm
stay
not gonna read
clowning.
it. You can do whatever you want.
Thanks for the engagement, girly.
Right? Well,
Oh my God.
what are we engaging with these days?
I had Segue
I
Queen.
know, I'm trying so
Ruby's the
hard.
Segue Queen this day.
You where?
Just,
You're so
know.
impressive.
Thank you so much. I watched like 2 podcasts over the last 24 hours, and I'm just like really good at it now. You know what I mean? I'm
Oh
just
my
like, I'm a
God.
host. It's so good. I hate it.
I'm so proud of you.
Let's get into Just Playing Tingz, where we'll be sharing what games, demos we've been playing, and such.
Yeah.
I was gonna say let's go down the line, and I'm like, yes, me. Let's go down the line, because I'm first down the line today.
Yeah, how does it feel to be first?
It's so weird, because like we usually set up like in alphabetical order for our usernames, and I'm not used to being first because we have a lot of people that are like very high up on the alphabet. So I'm like, I feel vulnerable. I feel, I'm just like, oh, the spotlight is on
Feeling a lot of
me.
feelings in your titties.
But this is not my titty, excuse you.
This is a collarbone.
I'm like, this is, excuse you. It's not my
It's like-
titty.
Yeah.
You're in a tiny window on my computer screen. I can't tell what your hands touching.
T. What I've been playing? A lot of Chrono Trigger. A lot of fun with Chrono Trigger. I started thinking critically about it last time I streamed because I was like grinding and stuff like that. And again, this doesn't mean that I hate the game because that's super far from the truth. But I was like thinking about it. I was like, what do I think about this game as I was playing it, right? Because I'm like halfway through it, a little over it maybe. And I really, really like it. The time traveling is actually really cool, like way cooler than I thought it was gonna be. Because I think I thought I was like, it's gonna be very confusing. It's gonna be annoying. It's gonna be a lot, but it actually makes a lot of sense, and that's really good for a time traveling game or a story because a lot of those don't make a lot of sense. So I'm like, okay, that makes sense. That's why we're doing that. Okay, cool, whatever. My main gripe with it is actually like within the characters, because like we don't really know much about them. And I was kind of talking about it on stream. It's like you get introduced to your main character and you kind of get a glimpse from like talking to the character's mom and all that stuff. You kind of get a glimpse of like they're kind of like a rebel. They're kind of like cuckoo, cookie all over the place. They're not your average girl. He's not like other girls, you know? And like you get that, you get very like distilled character like sheets almost. Like you're like, okay, the main character is very like wild and he doesn't do things by the book. And then you get the nerd girl who's a mechanic and she's very quirky. And then you get the princess who's a rebel and she wants to escape and she has daddy issues, relatable. And then you get like the frog that spoiler, and that's why they're a frog. And then you know what I mean? It's just like, I feel like you don't know why these characters are saving the world, right? Like if I were to compare it to like a Final Fantasy, like Final Fantasy 7, or you know why everyone is doing why they're doing it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
people are like, we want to fight this evil corporation, and then it escalates, etc. For this, it's like, why does this teenager want to save the world, and everyone for that matter? Like, why? What are his motivations? Why does he want to do it? Why is he literally jumping on a time loop to save this girl he literally just met? It's like stuff like that where I'm like, I get it. It's like, don't overthink it kind of thing, and I'm just having fun with it. The music is amazing, the combat is amazing, everything about it is amazing except for that. Like that's literally the only thing that I'm like, that's why if I were to do like a rating of it, I would stay at 4.5 rather than 5, because I'm just like, I feel like I don't know the characters that I'm playing as. You know what I mean? I feel like I don't really, you don't see them like growing as far as like a party goes. Like you don't see them like developing interpersonal relationships too much. Like you see a little bit here and there, like, oh, they have a crush on each other kind of thing, but it's not like too much. But it is a 9095 game, and I know that there's a lot of limitations, and even with that in mind, the game is huge in scope, so like I don't know how they did it. But yeah, that's kind of all. I was gonna like try to play other demos and stuff to have something else to talk about, but I feel like I went pretty deep on Chrono Trigger right now, so I feel like I don't need to play anything else this week. Listen, I'm feeling my
Sorry.
mullet fantasy. I'm whipping it around today. I don't know
Hey,
why.
listen, I love it.
I
I'm about
love this
it.
for you.
Yeah, I absolutely love it.
What have you been playing, Rewin?
I have been playing a lot of I can't even say it. I've been like in and out of gaming, just with like some personal things going on. But I've been playing 14. I've been trying to get my crafters to Final Fantasy 14. I've been trying to get my crafters to 80. I was doing Alchemist earlier this morning. I've been consuming a lot of like books primarily. So
Ooh.
I was reading the Pokemon Adventures novel, which I told literally I talked about it, I think every single stream for like a week, because I was just like, it's so good.
As you
Like I
should.
have really been enjoying this manga. And then I started reading the Legend of Zelda manga, which is really good. And then I picked up this book by Disney, which is called the Twisted Tale series, and it was the Mulan one. So Mulan had to go to the underworld to save Shang, and I have only read one other book from from the series, in which was The Beauty and the Beast, and I felt like it was like very, you're able to connect to it a little bit more because you kind of understood everything going on and you knew who the characters were, in comparison to this book where you know who Milan is and you know who Shang is, but like uh spoiler alert, Mushu is in the book for maybe 4 pages, and then he's not there, and this is like a 400-page book, so he's there a percent of the book. um and then you get introduced to all these other characters that you really don't know who they are, but the author Elizabeth Lim did an amazing job. I was like 100 pages into it, and then when I was visiting my mom, I read it all within 3 hours. It was a really good book. I really recommend it to those who kind of like want to see the Disney world flipped on its head. And then I picked up Pokemon Adventures, the second book, which follows Yellow. And that's been a really interesting thing as well. Oh, and I read the first book to the Twilight Princess manga, and woo, girl, I tell you something.
Yes.
I tell you, like, literally the last few pages, your mouth is just agape, because I mean, they have creative freedom, a little bit, obviously, from Nintendo. And Link actually does talk in the manga, so he's not a silent character like in the video games. So you kind of get his inner dialogue a little bit too. But there's some thing there, like it's a PG-13 book, I would say. Like
Ooh.
you see some blood, and you're just like, all right, okay. So yeah, that's what I've been consuming primarily. 14 and books.
I
read.
mean, nerdy stuff.
Reading.
Yeah, nerdy things. Yeah, and that's really
I'm
it.
though that Pokemon Adventures, like as you were talking about it, I was like, this sounds familiar, and like I did read a bit of it, and I thought it was so good because it's like you basically go through like all of the games, but like, it's like as
Mhm.
the protagonist, so it's like the main character is red and then yellow and then you know what have you as the series kind of progresses, and it's really cool to see like a different perspective than the one that you saw on the show because the show is
Yeah.
so like different from the
Mhm.
games. So yeah, I absolutely I need to get back into reading it. Actually, I'm like, you made me
It's
want to read
it's
it.
it's really good. I mean, you get to meet Green, which Green is never presented in the anime. So, and she's a great character, and I think Yellow is a great character too. I was kind of like, I don't understand what this character is about, but as I've been reading, I'm probably about halfway through the collector's edition, which I think it combines like three of the volumes at once, and I think that gets you through like the entire like series of that person. But like Yellow's been pretty good, and the storyline between why he's, adventuring has been very interesting. So yeah, I recommend it. I recommend it to everyone.
Yeah.
Spin,
Yes.
what have you been up to?
Y'all are never gonna. I got back into Genshin.
Oh, okay.
Work. I thought you were gonna say something extremely cursed, and I was like, why don't I have a knife prop with me?
Cookie clicker.
Like I don't. Yeah,
Oh
I
my
was.
god.
I thought you were gonna go with like, you would never guess. I'm playing Animal Crossing, and I would be like, spin why? Um,
or cookie clicker, like I made small
Oh
play
my
the other
god.
day on stream.
Literally ground the stream to a halt and we're like, streamer, listen to me, play the game I want.
I didn't think he would do it. He did it.
Cookie clicker for the rest of the
so
stream.
funny.
Oh my god.
Ruin chose
Continue,
chaos,
I'm
and
sorry.
Smallsy was like, sure.
Yeah, okay. Alright.
I just wanted to see what it was.
So Smallsy's been playing Cookie Clicker ever since, just nonstop the whole time,
Yes.
hours a day.
24. Yes.
Addicted to it.
But I got back into Genshin. This is kind of a recent development. I think it was like either yesterday or the day before. I was in Glenn and Hall's stream, and
Oh, I love Glenn.
he was playing Genshin, and I was like, every time I see someone play Genshin, I want to play, but I'm stuck because like literally for months. I'm sure I've said this sometime on the podcast before, but I raised my world level too high before I leveled up my characters, and I couldn't beat any of the bosses to ascend my characters, and I was just stuck like that forever. And
Okay, update on that, because
Uh-huh.
let's put a pin on that, okay? Because we since then talked about it, and I was like, Spin, have you tried like this boss? Because some of them are easier than others. And Spin was like, no, I've literally just been trying the same boss this whole time. And I was like, Spin, no.
Wait a damn minute. So you could have probably still been playing that account.
Because that's how I got my account unstuck. Like, basically, for people who haven't played Genshin, like, you have to beat these, like, bosses, and every boss is associated with a different element because every character is also associated with a different element. So basically, through, like, type matchups, if you have, like, a character, for example, that has, like, maybe they're associated with the ice, like, thing, and they happen to have like really good weapons, if you make a team around them, you could probably beat the element that's like weaker to ice. But Spin was like, no, I've just been fighting this one. And I was like, Spin, I literally, that's like one of the hardest ones from my own experience, like literally try anything else. And he was like, oh. So yeah,
Okay.
Go ahead.
Listen, we all know I'm not very smart.
Lindy.
Anyway, Glenn popped on over to help me out.
Oh, work.
I love that.
Huge thank you to Glenn. So
Shout
now,
out to Glenn and Hell.
so now I'm back on that account, and I'm thriving, and I've got my girl Beidou and doing things in Genshin Impact.
I love that so much.
I love it for you very much. So I'm happy that you got unstuck. And so what are you gonna do with the other account? The question is, what are you gonna do with your second account now?
I don't know. I think I'm just gonna like focus on my main account.
No, definitely.
I made the second account because I was stuck in the first account.
Yeah, I know. That's fine. Just wondered. But R.I.P. second account.
But now my main account is unstuck and it's fine now.
Yeah.
Iconic.
I love it for you.
I love that
Oh
for you,
gosh,
but
you're
the
so
levels
cute.
of clownery were just through the roof. Also, like, I remember people offered to help you when you first talked about this on the podcast, and you
wait, I
fully
feel
didn't take any offers to help, and you were like, no, I was just stuck. I'm just gonna make a second account, and everyone was like, but we can help you.
Okay. So the thing is, if I don't do a thing immediately, I forget that it exists. And Glenn's very much the same way because Glenn has ADHD.
I mean, yeah.
So literally, like later that night, like after stream, she popped on and was like, "Hey," and I was like, "Hey," and then we just did it. So if I don't do it
Love
immediately, I forget that it
that.
exists.
Love that.
well. I guess it's unstuck. It's unstuck.
It's
though.
unstuck.
So we can just praise the Lord for that. Praise the Lord.
Are we gonna go for Aloy? Are we gonna try?
I don't know, cause like the process for getting her on PlayStation is different than PC, right? And I mainly play on PC. Like I don't have an account on PlayStation.
Well, you see, I haven't
So I
done
don't.
research.
We haven't done the
So-
research on the Google.
If it's not too difficult, I will go for her. If it's too hard, I'm gonna be like, no.
No.
I mean, they usually just do, you know, you just pull for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there's that.
I don't know. I'll be saving my prima gems.
We got this. We can do it.
I'll be
We're
saving
doing the
all my
research.
prima gems. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Oh, apparently
I'm
she's
not gonna
only
be too stressed.
Okay, you can get her right away if you play on PS4 or 5 because, you know, Horizon is a PlayStation property. But apparently there's ways for PC and mobile players to get her as well. And I don't think it's with Primogem, so I think you just have to do like a quest. You just have to like gather items and like, yeah, as far as I'm aware.
Love that.
Well, it all depends. I may take the game up on that, depending on like what level you have to be to do it. Because I'm still baby. Because I stopped playing months ago.
Love that. Wait, no. Okay, I just read it. I don't know which patch we're in, but patch 2.2 should make her available for everyone on PC and mobile.
Oh, cute.
And you can just log in and you can claim her through the mail feature, and it will stay there for a year until it expires.
There you go.
And the items are for
I'll just wait.
upgrades, or like, you know, her little upgrades.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Little
I'll just be
upgrades.
patient.
iconic. I might download it.
Yes, pop off.
Just in case.
We all get back into Genshin.
Well, last time I said that I downloaded, logged in, and then logged out and uninstalled. So, you know.
Maybe.
But
might happen.
Like
no, it is what it
Genshin.
is. Other than Genshin, what have you been up to? Is that all?
That's pretty much it as far as gaming. I've made a lot of
Iconic.
soap.
Yes,
I made so much
love the
soap.
soaps.
Oh, so much soap.
I want so much soap.
Oh, you can wash all the holes with the soap.
Oh my god. Keep all your holes clean.
So don't eat it.
Don't eat it.
Oh,
It
don't
tastes
eat
really
it.
good, but don't eat it.
It does not taste good, I promise. It's gonna taste like soap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made a lot of soap. I've been organizing my life. I've been doing medical things, doing my medical appointments. I've been cleaning and organizing things in my space, like making it a bit easier to like work and live in here. And that's been lovely. It's been a lovely break. I'm excited to get back. Yeah.
Iconic in every way. Well, as you log off Genshin Impact and you log on into your favorite social media platforms, you can find us on there. Did you know? You can find me at
You
Project
know? Oh my
Ruby on
God.
those platforms. The Project Ruby on TikTok and Instagram. Support me on Ko-Fi. Thank you. Ruin, where can people find
You
you?
can find me. You can literally find me on TikTok, on Instagram, on Twitter, at Ruin Crown. Oh, twitch.tv / Ruin Crown. That's where I am primarily Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays. But yeah, you can find me there. If you want to follow my Twitter, it's just primarily shit posting at this point because I don't even care for Twitter, but because
And we
it's too
love
much
it.
drama, too much drama. So why
Honestly,
not
it's
shit
refreshing.
post?
Yeah.
Huh?
Honestly, it's refreshing. Tell us about your work. Like,
Yeah, right. And how I can't spell restaurant.
Uh-huh. That's relatable content right there.
Yeah, that's
Listen,
relatable
you learn
content.
something about Ruin every day. You know what I
Mhm.
Yeah, I can't
mean?
spell restaurant. Don't put me in a spelling bee and ask me how to spell restaurant. Use it in a sentence.
Weird.
Over.
Origin of the word.
So sorry.
Original language, please. Did y'all see that TikTok where the girl was like, she was at the spelling bee and they gave her word and she's like, what's the definition? And they gave the definition. Can you use it in a sentence? They used it in a sentence and she's like, can you repeat the word? And then she's like, can you spell it?
I
National spelling bee level speller. And she's like, can you spell it? Because I can't.
I love
Love it.
that.
She's an icon. I love her.
I love that energy.
And where can everyone find you?
If you enjoy my energy, you can find me on Twitch, Twitter, and TikTok, all at SpinBlend. You can also find my soap shop at spinsoapcafe.com. And I've been uploading on YouTube under Linblend. I'm trying to get her to 100 subs so she can have her own custom URL. But if you look up Linblend, you'll find her.
Get into it.
Of course, I also have a Ko-Fi at SpinBlend. You can support me on there to get all my videos early. Imagine.
Iconic.
I love it so much.
Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining us this week on the podcast. If you've made it this far, you might as well just leave us a like on your favorite platforms of choice. You might as well click that follow button if you found us and you listened this far. If you endured all this clownery, you know, you might as well just do that for us. And if you didn't like it, don't tell us. We don't care. Anyway.
I perceive.
We'll see you soon for the PlayStation Showcase on Thursday, and then on Saturday with our thoughts, feelings, and concerns. So we'll see you then. Bye.
Oh, bye.
Oh my god, goodbye.
Oh my god.
It's so hard to say goodbye. Oh.